when am I going to figure out this thing that I was created for? So I remember as a teenager asking my parents, sitting at the foot of their bed late at night going, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I figure it out? And they said, if the best thing you can do is live in the service of others, help other people figure out what they're supposed to do. God has given me this ability to go and create opportunities for other people to generate wealth that can be used for greater impact.
There's not too many people that can say that their parents have been detained by the Taliban.
In my experience, even through pain, even through loss, even through some really tragic things in my own life that I've seen and experienced, I've also experienced God's loving kindness in a way that you cannot unconvince me. I'm not trying to do everything in my own strength, because I know when I do everything in my own ability, my own strength, my own kind of vision, like, well, I'd probably be dead.
Some people leave an amazing first impression. Others leave a legacy. And every once in a while, you meet someone who does both at the same time and in real time. And today's guest is someone I've admired for a long time. But more than that, he's someone I've gotten to call a friend. And I stayed at his house for 2 days here in Chicago. And he's a father, he's a husband, he's a connector of amazing people. He's a man of deep faith, fierce love, joyful leadership, and he's so freaking funny. And a lot of people know him as just the visionary behind Titus Talent, a world-class recruiting firm. But he's a builder, a speaker, a strategist. And guess what? He's also going to be the opening keynote speaker at the EOS conference in 2026. And so that's something that we share in common. But there's another layer to him, and something that we're going to maybe uncover today on this episode. So this isn't going to be your usual type of podcast. This isn't going to have a bunch of hiring tactics or business tactics like you might think of when you hear about Jonathan Reynolds. But we're here to talk about his family, his faith, his purpose, and even some of the pain, and how a man can walk forward with so much joy in everything he does in life. This is Jonathan D. Reynolds like you've never seen him before. Let's dive right into the podcast. Jonathan, it's been amazing staying at your house. It's been really good hospitality here. I've learned a lot about you, your family over the last, I don't know, we've been friends for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
You know, you were like that stalker that hit me up once you found out I was the opening keynote speaker at the EOS conference. And you're like, I got to get on a call with this guy. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
I do.
What was that all about? Like, what was going through your head? And like, do you do that normally?
No, I just never heard of you. I thought, this is interesting. This guy's the opening keynote. And I'm like, I want to know who he is. Why do they select him to be the opening keynote? Like, what's his story and what's the story behind the story? And I was like, yeah, okay, I get this. I like this guy. So you're real and authentic, and that's where we hit it off.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to be the opening keynote speaker.
That's what I hear.
In 2026. It's such a long way away.
Yeah, but yet not.
It's almost like 9 months away. You got to make a baby.
Yes, I got to come up with something.
You don't even know what you're going to talk about.
Well, we'll get there when we get there. I'll be ready. It's 9 months.
People. It's all about people.
All about
Tell me,
people.
you were telling me a little bit about dinner. Why don't we just go there for a quick second?
Well, I think for entrepreneurs, business owners, leadership teams, like we get so consumed with the vision that we have, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, what we're trying to accomplish, what big thing we're trying to make an impact in the world. The layer below that is it's all about people. You can't achieve anything without having the right people on your teams. And it's not just the right people on your team so that you can accomplish. It's actually pausing and just recognizing that these are people with stories, with hopes, with dreams, with their own visions, their own pain, their own regrets, and the things that have shaped them, even shame, even trauma, even pain. That shapes every one of our stories in some way, shape, or form, and that we just pause to acknowledge that every single person on our team is not just there to get a job done. They're there for us to care for them, see them grow, develop, and become who they're supposed to become as well. It's not just like, come and join my vision, which is, it's a privilege to have people choose to help you accomplish your vision. But for us to pause and go, okay, what's your story? And how am I helping you on your journey of life? So,
you said something at dinner last night. I forget what you said, but it was catchy. Do you remember what you said? About like it was like a little
I don't
it was like
remember.
a good one-liner. And I was like, man, that's gonna be
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I should have written it down too. Yeah, I was being too present though. Like I didn't want to go to my notes.
Maybe it'll come back
type
to
something. Me. Yeah, it was good. Well, listen, I know you won't be nervous because it never seems like you're nervous. If you are, you'll just make a joke or you'll laugh and you'll get through it, right? Because when you're up there, just so you know, in front of 2,500 people and this huge production team behind you, you got people with headsets on behind the stage. All the EOS people that are counting on you to deliver the perfect keynote. Really, they just want you to deliver the most authentic keynote. So don't let them kid you when they get you through all of the prep and stuff like that. Oh, that's just that's just to make them feel better.
I think it's that connection again. Like, hey, these are everyone in the room are people with hopes and dreams, pain, trauma, real things, challenges, life, kids, families. They've got all of those things going on, and so I'm speaking to me.
So what I wonder, if I take you back to your childhood with little Johnny. I don't know if anybody ever called you little Johnny. Never called you little Johnny. All right, so little Jonathan.
Yeah.
So much more official. Growing up in the UK, you guys could tell he's like a little UK-ish, right, by the accent.
UK-ish.
You're not faking that accent just to make it sound better. Well, when I did some deep research on ChatGPT, and I shared that with you, it said that you had a very what did it say? Delightful. Yes, a delightful accent. And I was like, how does it know that he's got a delightful accent? Can it really hear tonality? Like, you must.
No, I probably told somebody that I have a delightful accent, and it caught it and captured it somewhere.
There you go. But what was it like growing up in the UK? What shaped you the most? And who were you before the world knew Jonathan D. Reynolds?
Yeah. Okay. So. Origin story. So I'm youngest of 5 kids with parents who are pretty wild, unusual, a little bit eccentric, and they raised each of us to just like figure out why you're on the earth. Like my dad was always say, the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. And I'm like, okay, when am I going to figure out why? When am I going to figure out this thing that I was created for? And I remember just being youngest of 5, seeing all my siblings. I was the surprise child, or a mistake, as my siblings called me. My parents would say, no, you're a surprise. So a little jump between me and the rest of my siblings in age. But yeah, they would just talk about figuring out what you're created to do. And I'm like, how am I supposed to figure that out? And so I remember as a teenager, asking my parents, sitting at the foot of their bed late at night going, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I figure it out? And by that point, everybody had left. All of my siblings had moved on and going off to the 4 corners of the earth, and they'd all left the country, going off to do other things. And I was really worried. I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to amount to anything or figure out that world-changing idea. And they said, if the best thing you can do is live in the service of others. And I'm like, the service of others? Like, what does that mean? And they're like, serving other people. Help other people figure out what they're supposed to do. I'm like, so I'm asking you what I'm supposed to do, and you're saying just go and help other people figure out what they're supposed to do. And I'm like, seems like you're not really helping me. But here I am, years later, decades later, and I get so much like joy, satisfaction, just meaning from helping other people figure out what they're supposed to be doing and see if I can do anything to help them get there. And and I guess we've built a whole business about that, really helping people figure out what they're supposed to do, helping leaders figure out who they need on their team, their who, finding their who's for them, making them integrate, onboard, optimizing, getting everybody running in the same direction. And so yeah, I found my thing for this season of life, at least anyway.
So did you ever have that day where you figured out your why? Like, was there an exact day that you're like, oh?
So yeah, finding out, like, I go through seasons of like, man, I hate that. I remember working, 2 different jobs, like working as a shopping cart or a trolley pusher, as you say in England, which is not...
a trolley pusher.
Not the thing that goes down the street, but the shopping carts. So I'm like working in a grocery store, pushing shopping carts around going, all right, is this what I'm supposed to do in my life? To mowing lawns and then starting a lawn mowing business and then a cleaning business and hiring people as a teenager. I'm like, I kind of like this.
So that stuck with you, like that comment by your dad. How old were you when your dad let you first
15.
heard that? So when you were 15, your dad says this to you. It was like a big moment, and then you're always thinking about it as you keep changing jobs or doing more things.
Yeah.
And then when did you stop? Have you ever stopped thinking? Are you still thinking about it, or did you
No.
finally settle in? Like, is that maybe your purpose, just to help other people find their purpose?
Yeah,
Is that a cop out too? Like, I wonder, like, just so we don't have to actually find our purpose, we just keep helping other people find their purpose. Thanks, Dad.
Well, eventually you see somebody doing something, you're like, I want to do that. I want to do their purpose, you know.
Yeah.
But that looks good. You get paid to do that. Huh? That's good. So yeah, when I stumbled across this industry, number one, I love working with people. I really, really enjoy people and the complexities of people, and then seeing the dynamics of people working together. That like just fascinates me. People fascinate me. People's stories fascinate me. And then I heard that there was this industry where you can help companies with their big people problems. I'm like, wow, this is like a multi-billion-dollar industry here in the U.S. of people figuring out people problems. I'm like, and then I discovered that most company problems are people problems.
87%.
Yeah. Did you make that up? Sounds like
Maybe.
you made it one,
I
but
don't know.
I like that. But I'm like, wow, company problems are often people problems. Okay, I want to get into that. And then I realized there's this legal industry of selling people as well. That's called recruiting. And I'm like, wowsy, okay. But in the recruiting space, I discovered that, and I'm like, wow, this is fascinating. Like figuring out company problems and people problems and connecting the dots there, and then helping people find their core and what they were created to do and connecting the dots there. That really lit me up. And I'm like, this is something I could do for a while. And then I realized it's quite a dirty industry and a broken industry. It's very kind of stereotypical, the idea we conjure up when we think of used car sales. That's the recruiting space. And I'm like, oh man, someone's got to change this thing. So that's how I stumbled across all of these things, and that's how we created the company that we're in right now.
What part of your parents' example of you when you were growing up with them shows up in your life today?
Ooh. I mean, my parents I want to become more like them in like selfless. They're very, very selfless and sacrificial people. And they don't think about their personal gain. They don't think about what's in it for them. They think about how do we serve other people, and how do we serve those who are most vulnerable in the world. And I think, oof. So their way they live is like completely devoted, all in, wholehearted to that. I feel like God has given me this ability to go and create opportunities for other people to generate wealth that can be used for greater impact. So that's why when we started Titus Talent, we sort of labeled ourselves as a for-profit, for-good organization, which means we use our profits for the good of those around us. You see that whole sort of circle what my parents said, living in the service of others. I'm like, oh, I can take the profits and serve other people with it, serve those who are most vulnerable in the world, those who are in need, and those who can't seem to make it on their own, and they're fighting for their lives. And I think, how do we come alongside them with the resources, training, education, equipment, and financial resources to bring transformation to their lives? So that's what we've chosen to do.
We have a big goal. I think, is it 30 million by 2030?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah, we're already 70%
You're
there.
already 70% there. Yeah, that's wild.
It's been a lot of fun to have amazing people on our team who are committed to that. That to me is like working with people who care about the same thing you care about, the why behind it all. Like, yes, no doubt everyone in the company works because they got to make a paycheck and things like that. But in addition to that, and providing for their needs of them and their families, to know that every hour that we work is actually generating profits for good. That's a motivational driver for people.
Yeah. And as you look at the way that you grew up and the way that your parents parented you, and you now are a father of 3 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm a father of 3 kids.
Yeah.
I might have a 4th. I don't think you're going to have any more, right?
Yeah, who knows?
You never know. Let's find out about that. But how do you think that fatherhood has changed the way that you view your own parents? And then what do you hope that your kids say about you one day?
Wait, break that down again.
All right. So how has fatherhood changed the way that you view your own parents? It's a deep question.
Yeah, it is a deep question. I think one of those things where, like, when for those who have kids or can have kids, you suddenly see your parents differently because you realize, like, you look at this child and you think, "Wow, I'd do anything for this kid. Anything. I'd do anything to see this kid have a great, fulfilling life where they feel safe, cared for, protected." And so you structure your life in a way to do that and facilitate that. And very quickly you realize, wow, everything in my upbringing, for me, I realized my parents did that for us. And their worldview was launch these kids into the world and almost a bit like, just go do what you were created to do, and do it big. Go change the world. That's very much our upbringing. And so from the second we turned old enough to move out of the house, it was like, yeah, go get out of the house, go do the thing you're supposed to do. We'll see you later. See you on the flip side. It felt very much like that. That's the style of parenting my parents had. It was give you everything we can give you and then launch you into the thing that you're supposed to do. For me now is probably a little bit more in the middle, of like, okay, cool. I really, I want to be there for you when you become an adult and not post becoming an adult, but I want to be there.
You want to do it together.
Yeah, I want to do it together. You want to, as much as you're willing to have me around, I want to be around. And that's not a knock on my parents, but I think just a recognition that we're all very different. And we're gonna, based on our worldview, based on how we see things work out, we start organizing and structuring our life.
Did you feel a little alone, maybe, like when you kind of like got boosted out there and kicked out in the most positive way? Did you feel like you wish your dad would have been around a little bit more to maybe?
In some ways, yeah. There have been times where I'm like, can you come? Can you come and be around? You know, there are definitely times where I felt that, and had to work through those things, but recognize that they're actually fulfilling what they were created to do, and that's what they see. And in many ways, I'm getting on and doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. That's what I see, and for me, probably wanting to be more involved as much as my kids would like in their lives as they go into the next season.
What do you hope your kids say about you 30, 40 years from now?
That I modeled love and sacrifice, and care, and that they were loved.
I like that. Yeah. We've all walked through storms, right, with our families, parents, kids, wives, spouses. No one really talks about that a lot. You know, us business guys, we can get in here and talk about our business problems, you know, and they're just people issues and we can solve them. And there's a chart for that. When it comes to our family, you know, it's so much more tender, I guess. You know, it's not as easy to just whiteboard.
Yeah, I've done that.
Well, I'm sure you have. You know, try to set up. Have you ever set up like a 90.io account for your family?
I'll tell you what I
meeting?
did do. I remember at one point when we started the company, we built the compensation plan, the rewards-based comp, like flex comp and reward incentive comp plan, and it was designed on my kids' allowance, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Which was, I was tired of nagging my kids to do their chores, and so they each had their list of chores, and I said, all right. If you do your chores and you do your chores and you do your chores, each of you, I'll give you this much per week in allowance. You know, a few bucks as they were little kids. But if all three of you get all of your chores done, everybody doubles their weekly allowance.
Little team incentive.
And I'm like, and here's the kicker: if this kid is not getting his chores done, he's not taking the trash out or emptying the dishwasher, things like that. That means you're not going to double your income that week, but one of you could actually do the other person's chores for them so that you get double income. And I thought it was an amazing way to deal with not having to nag, because they'll like hold each other accountable. So and it worked for a little bit, but it was quite complicated for little kids to understand.
Should have made that a reality TV show.
It was, and so that's what we, in the first few years of Titus's flex incentive compensation, was if everyone's on a team, everyone's got their goals and quantifiable objectives. If somebody's down, they're sick, they're in hospital, whatever, their plan still remains. So the job has to be done for us to hit our company objectives. But if somebody can cover for them, then they can all double their income.
Interesting.
Or not their total income, but double their bonus potential.
So back to this fatherhood thing
Yeah.
and being having to solve problems, right, inside
Yeah.
your family, or being a part of it, because I know you're probably a problem solver. It's a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
What's something that you've learned about love during those hard moments?
As a father or as a business?
No.
Okay.
I care more about Jonathan D. Reynolds,
all
the
right.
person at here in the home, than
Yeah.
because there's so much business stuff out there about you, and you do it well. People can look, probably
Yeah.
get on another podcast to hear about all your
Well-
strategies with work. I want to hear about, like, what do you learn about love at home?
Yeah.
Because I know then it relates back to the business.
Okay, yeah, totally. So I think, I talk about people. People are messy. People are complicated. There's drama in every one of our lives that wasn't there 6 months ago. Like, we've all gone through something in the last 6 months, whether it be somebody's connected to us, family member, somebody got sick, somebody found out somebody's got cancer, something is going on. Somebody's family member lost their job. Those things affect us. That's not even like right in our own literal DNA, but somebody connected to us. It affects how we show up. Like, that's messy, that's complicated. You can do a great job of hiring somebody, and then one of their family members gets really sick and is in hospital. What are you gonna do now? Are you gonna filter by love and care and compassion and empathy, or are you gonna be like, just get your flipping job done? That's what I hired you to do. I don't care about your sibling or your parent. Like, whoa, like, people are complicated. Then you bring that into your own personal world, and I mean, for me, I can find myself being way more compassionate with people in the business world and in the work environment than I can. My guard comes down, and that's where I'm ugliest at home. I'm most impatient at home. Impatient with myself, and impatient with my family members, my wife, my kids. And I think that is where we need to, like, just pause and go, okay, how am I showing up here? When I used to work in an office and coming home, that commute home, like, I'd be on the phone, making phone calls, still, crushing deals and trying to pull all the right levers. And then walking into the house, I would act like this driver. I'm like, what's happening here? Where are the toys on the floor? What's going on here? Clean this up. And, like, my family were like, whoa, who's the big boss just showed up?
Yeah, the tire just got released from the cage.
Yeah, seriously. And I realized, I'm like, wow, I need some transition period where I just change my hat from leader to father to, like, am I going to roll around on the floor and play with my kids when they're in amongst all their toys and step on the Lego and do the step on the freaking Lego? Why is that there? Like, oh, you know why it's there? Because my kids are kids and they're having fun and they're building stuff and they're discovering life. And am I going to be present with them? Am I going to sit there, or how do I transition all of the weight of the world and weight of the business and the weight of all of the employees and their stuff, where I can be really compassionate and empathetic to actually pause and go, when am I going to actually pause and go, like, how was your day? What was the hardest part of your day? What was the biggest joy of your day? And actually be present with my family. Tell me something good that happened today. So, like, just pause in, and my kids would, like, do their eye rolls as they, got older and into their preteens. Like, what was the favorite part of your day at dinner table? And they're like, but I'm like, just trying to figure out the ways to unlock their hearts and hear their stories and being present. Oh man, love is. If I say that I want to be known for loving my kids, how do I show them love?
What I want to know more of, though, and I want to get focused in on this part because I think it's important, is, like, during those hard moments, have you felt like your love expanding, and have you learned more about love than you knew before? Yeah. Tell me about, like, what's, like, one thing that you've learned, because there's a lot of people at home that kind of just skirt around it. They're afraid because, like, it's not normal to, like, want to go deep into the pain to, like, then feel how you can then learn how to love more.
I mean, you hold a little baby, which you've done more recently than me, your own child, your own offspring, and you're just like, wow, their life ahead of them is going to be amazing. It's going to be great. It's going to be so much filled with such amazing things. And I want to be like, and pain, and unexpected pain, and trauma, and disappointment, and loss, and, like, statistically, you're going to face pain. In this life, we're going to have trouble. And what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do when my kid makes choices that are completely contrary to the way I think is best? Because they have choice. I can go, oh, no, you're not going to do that, like to the teenager. Like you don't get to do that. You don't get to choose those things. Well, we're raising healthy adults. It's just a long period of raising them, and part of growing up is making choices. So when you're a little 2, 3, 4-year-old and you're like, no, don't touch that, because we're trying to protect them from pain. Mm-hmm. But at some point in life, they start making choices that we go, okay, all right, you're going to go down that road. And we're like, I can completely smother them and say no, which I've done. It's a great thing of having multiple kids. You keep trying out.
They're all test subjects.
That's right. Yeah. All right, maybe we won't do it that way. But
have you ever just wanted to let your kid touch the hot stove? Just because, like, it's like,
totally.
I think it'll just get over with quicker than trying to tell them no like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Just let them touch.
I probably shouldn't have made them touch it, but no, I'm kidding. I didn't do that. But I think with the choices that they make comes some great things, surprising great things, but some also really painful things. Mm-hmm. And then you go through all of the stuff as a parent going, did I screw up? Could I have done it better? I think dealing with pain of your kids' choices and the pain of my own choices and regrets of my own choices and having to deal with that pain, shame, and I failed versus I've made some really, really bad choices that have impacted people around me. And how do I process that? How do I process that in the most healthy way? Because hurt people. If you don't deal with that pain, you don't deal with that regret, you don't deal with that shame, it's going to leak into every part of your world.
Is there something that you can share with the audience about a moment of regret, that what you've learned from it and how you kind of move through that?
Yeah. I mean, some of these things are still raw because I'm still in the process of the journey. Because like when you suddenly say, oh, I'm healed, I'm good, I'm better now, you know, it's kind of like when you're really sick and people are like, how you feeling? You're like, better, a lot better. I feel a lot better. Like, are you completely there? Like, no, I'm not completely through, but I'm getting better. I'm taking my vitamins. I'm doing this. I'm hydrating.
Well, I feel like you gotta use words that end in ing. I am healing. I am transforming.
Yeah.
I am forgiving. I am.
Yeah.
So if you can just use that ing words, like you can.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why. It's a trick.
I think, well, I believe for some of the big decisions we've made in life that we believed were right and still believe were right, but they came with some consequences. I'll give you an example. We moved our whole family across the country from Wisconsin to San Diego. And that sounds amazing, doesn't it? Wisconsin.
It's always sunny in San Diego.
To San Diego. And it sounds like wow, that sounds like an adventure and paradise and a bit of an upgrade. Sorry for those in Wisconsin, but a bit of an upgrade to arrive there. And I'm thinking, this is incredible. And I'm like as a 40-year-old person, hitting the ground running, going, the sun's shining, you know, all this kind of amazing stuff. And I'm on the adventure and recognizing that I got teens, preteens, their whole life just changed. Yeah, my life changed, but I'm at a different stage of life that I can process that. I'm not ready for some, new friends, new relationships, new this. I'm excited about it, but for them, their whole world is falling apart. And I hit the ground running, and everyone who we're friends with are like, we're going to come and stay and have our vacation and live in your house, because it's San Diego. And so like just constant flow of people, and didn't pause to go, what is this like for my kids? How is this going to be really devastating? How is this going to be traumatic? And I'm this optimist. I'm like, it's great, right? Look, isn't this exciting? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, Dad, that's great.
Like, yeah, but I lost my friends. I lost this. Everything's new. I'm trying to study new schools and new this and new relationships. Oh, and then COVID hits, and it's kind of like, and I'm like, wow, COVID is, but there's a positive side in this because I'm looking at the positive in everything.
Like, is it toxic positivity, you think?
Sure.
I'm just wondering, is that a thing? Is that a word? I just can't.
Maybe. I mean, I'm looking at it now, like, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, gosh, another punch in the face. I'm like, did I screw up on something? So I can go down into this place of like, wow, I wish I was there more presently, and I wish I'd said no to the people coming and staying at our house for the first 6 months. I think we had, in the first year, we had 180 nights of visitors staying with us.
Wow.
That's a lot of.
Hopefully, if you're listening to this and you were one of those visitors, you didn't cause the whole demise of the Reynolds family.
Oh, I'll start listing you off. We can tag their names. I'll go right now.
I mean, I get how you are though, because I mean, you're like, hey Benny, come over. The guest house is open. You can stay here. Like, I mean, like, is that like normal? I guess it is normal.
It is.
It is normal.
It is all normal, but it's. I've learned some boundaries. I've learned boundaries to actually say time limits on stuff. I've learned boundaries to say, no, this is actually, it's not just about you coming to visit. It's actually about me. It's about my wife. It's about my kids. It's about their understanding them.
Yeah.
What do they need? And what do they need in the season they're in? Because my season of life changes, and so is their season. And so just pausing to recognize everybody's in a different season.
We're gonna shift gears. I know God is a big, important figure in your life.
Yeah.
I hear it through your...
He is in everyone's life, but they just don't realize it.
Well, sure. And so for you, tell me about your relationship with God. How's that affected the way that you operate in this life? What have you learned through the ups and downs of your own personal journey?
Yeah.
Just shed a little light on that for us.
Well, I grew up in... Faith was really important in my family upbringing. I used to, my understanding was we're not religious in the sense of tradition, rules, regulations, and those kind of religious rhythms, but we were kind of more, hey, we're passionate Jesus followers, and we'll do whatever he wants us to do, no matter what other people think. So we're not going to go with like, well, this is what we're supposed to do, sit up straight, dress like this, show up here, like, we don't go to church, you know. I was like, what? I was told that as a kid. We don't go to church. We are the church. The church is about people. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I recognized it was all about people. It wasn't about buildings. It wasn't about rules, regulations. So that was part of DNA and upbringing. So that's my lens and worldview. And now still today, I'm in my mid-40s, actually have this very similar worldview of like, hey, I want to please God. I want to follow Jesus. I want to understand the book that is kind of like the guidebook for life. I want to understand that. I want to understand his ways through that. Now, I think many people have experienced God through other people, the church, and have been treated in less than favorable ways, and often we can have that as a filter when we see God, how we were treated by somebody else who said that they were good, who said that they had good motives, and it's affected us. And I think I've learned to recognize that through life. That's another area of pain, because you put your trust in people and people fail. I think many people in the world have experienced the letdown, failure, and disappointment of how somebody who's supposed to be leading us, protecting us, caring for us has not done optimum job, and that can affect the way we view God. And so I've learned to recognize that that's a real thing for people, and just do my best to represent God in a way to other people, but also recognize that I'm very human and I fail and I mess up, and not putting myself on some pedestal in people's lives as a leader, as a dad, as a husband, but really leaning into God for his help and grace when I don't do well.
Yeah, that's important for all of us. What's a prayer that you've had over the last year that maybe that you've prayed out loud, or maybe prayed to yourself or prayed to God about, that still kind of resonates in your heart today?
Yeah,
that echoes.
A common prayer for me is just around humility, that I would recognize my deep need for God in my life. When I think I got it together, I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. Just recognize, just stay low, stay humble. Recognize that I need God. I need his grace and his mercy in my life. And my desperate need for him. And the times where I feel like I'm doing pretty awesome, pretty amazing, I'm like, oh man, I get the jolt of like, because then I suddenly find myself like, what? I screwed up. You know, like I can't believe it because I was doing it in my own strength. I was actually, it was my pride and arrogance to think I'm pretty awesome.
I always imagine that God has like this like machine that goes like this, and he's got a bunch of 2x4s on it, and it's just spinning around. And then as soon as we like stand up and it's like
I'm crying, and then you're talking about this machine.
Well, no, okay,
keep
no,
going.
I didn't even know you were crying, and I just saw it slip out there. You know how to cover it up really good. It's interesting. We should talk about that. But
yeah.
But as you're saying that, as you like stand up in like yourself, right? You're like, I don't know, beating your chest is probably a little exaggerated because I don't think anybody actually does that. But as we get a little bit more prideful and a little bit less humble, we start to like think it's us, and then we stand up, and there's that 2x4 that just pops us over the head, and it kind of puts us back down, right? Like that's how I look at humility.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the teacher, but then after a while, after you get your head knocked in a couple times, but we're stubborn. I feel like us ADHD visionaries, God created us to be a little bit more stubborn, I think on purpose. And I don't know exactly. I have a couple ideas around that. I think he uses us as an example so everyone else can be like, don't be like that guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this for me. This is why the lens in which I see God through the Bible is like he is so kind, he's so loving, and it's his kindness that leads us to turn back to him. It's his kindness that leads us to be gentle. It's his the modeling of humility in Jesus, that he would wash people's feet and calls the kids and says, "Come, let the children come, let those who are caught in their own depravity, their own sort of." Like when religious people pulled people in front of the town square and said, look, they need to be killed because of their grossness and their behavior. He's like, all right, whoever's without sin, without failure, like why don't you throw the first stone then? And they all left because they all realized we've all screwed up, we've all messed up, and if our secret dirt, like nastiness and grossness was thrown up on the screen, we'd all be running and hiding. Because we've all gone our own way. We're all, and he is not like that. He's like, hey, come to me.
So maybe the picture isn't the 2x4 clipping at the top and us getting our head smacked off and pause. Maybe it's he's holding onto our feet, washing them so we don't get too far above.
I think it's like, hey,
ooh, I like
come
that.
Come here.
Like, that's good.
I'm going to care for you. I'm going to lay my life down for you. I want to see you come into the beauty in which I designed you to be. And I want to see you become the things that I've created. Like he sees us in a really good, pure parent with the motives. I just want you to become everything. Not like the parents who go, oh, I don't want him to become better than me. But the parent is like, I want you to not go beyond me, but just become everything that your potential is. And like, I want to provide for that. I want to meet those needs. And like, so that's the lens in which I see. And
why do such bad things happen to people?
Oh, come on. This is not a theology.
I'm just
asking.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm just curious
probably,
I'll
tell you what.
Like, I mean, why?
Because I think we have choice. I think we absolutely have choice. Why do bad things happen? Because we get to choose them. I get to choose to do stupid things. I'm not controlled. I don't believe he's a controlling God. I believe he's a God who gives choice. Right from the very beginning.
Why do you think that he allows for so much pain?
Because he allows choice.
But what about like the pain that isn't even necessarily your choice? Like for instance, like, I don't think it's any secret about what your parents are going through right now, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like it's.
But they have choice. They chose to be there.
They definitely did, but it's still painful for you as a child. Yeah. Right. And like those things in life, where people can say that, oh, they're not fair. Like, why does this happen to me? Or, if. Think about somebody that died at, at the age of 30 or something like that. Like, it's like, I always wonder, like, why does those things happen? And like, why do we have to go through those?
I wish I had the answer. I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't know. I think
I'm always going to keep asking because maybe somebody does have the answer. 7 billion people. I got a lot more interviews to go.
7 billion people interviewed.
Maybe one of them has the answer. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. But I'm okay. Here's the deal. I'm okay with not knowing. I am.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who's, if I don't know, I'm just going to, like, I don't know how that works, so I'm not going to be a part of it.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
some people like that.
Yeah, throw the Bible over there.
Or I don't understand how AI works, so I'm not going to use it. Like, what? Like, I don't know how most things work. I
don't even know how a credit card and money works. Like, the internet is the most fascinating thing. How does something go through like invisible air?
Exactly.
And then you can get a picture or a video.
Exactly. So
Like, how is that possible?
So people are like, oh, if God's real, then why are bad things in the earth? Therefore, I'm not believing in God. I'm like, well, by that logic, I wouldn't use a cell phone because I don't know how FaceTime works. Therefore, I'm not going to use a phone. Like, what? It doesn't make sense to me. Therefore, I'm not going to believe. Okay, well, there are bad things in the world. There are bad people in the world. There are bad, like, I don't know, but I do know that in my experience, even through pain, even through loss, even through some really tragic things in my own life that I've seen and experienced, I've also experienced God's loving kindness in a way that you cannot unconvince me.
I agree.
So
I agree.
But I'm not going around trying to convince people.
Sure. I mean, you're going through one of the most, I don't know, there's not too many people that can say that their parents have been detained by the Taliban.
Yeah.
So it's very it's a very unique experience that you're going through. I know that, you are really, it's like an interesting, conundrum or paradox, right? Of like, well, in 1 minute, like, hey, my parents are being detained by the Taliban. That is the most like I don't think anything else could be more horrific than that. And then there's like this whole like, hey, there's a loving God and there's a purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you just deal with both sides of that at the same time? Yeah. And I know you use humor a lot, which is very interesting. I'm
just gonna keep milking it.
Yeah, see, there you go. Like, he's already laughing about it. But like, for real, like, what's one thing that you've clung onto in this season of your life? This has been happening for like the last 5 or 6 months, I believe. That's kept your spirit like upright and like, just because no one would ever know it. Like if they met you and I don't know, it's wild how you're able to just move through this.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, so as of today, it's 6 months today. They've been in prison, held by the Taliban in Afghanistan. And there's a whole story behind that. Just Google it if you're wondering what the heck, But yeah, I think for me, I mean, that's been a journey in itself. Like, go from the sort of shock factor at the beginning, which shock to many people. It's not actually a shock to me because they've lived there for nearly 2 decades. And every time he's like, come on, kids, come and say goodbye to Grandpa and Grandma. It's probably the last time you're ever going to see them. Like, that is the reality. Like, my kids would still, if you pulled them on here right now, they'd be like, yeah, Dad always says that to us when Grandma and Grandma come and say every few years. Come and say goodbye to them. Maybe the last time you'll ever see them. Because I'm like, that is the reality,
yeah, since 2021, I mean, like, 2001, it's like, nobody's really thought the Taliban were the nicest, sweetest people in the world to hang out with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but so their choice of where to live, their choice to love the people of that country and give their life there. They have counted the cost. They would, I would say, happily die there. They would happily die in that country. So I've been prepared for that. So, but the challenge of them being imprisoned without charge and have no court case and held without charge for 6 months, without communication, etc. That's hard, right? But we do this in business all the time. Well, let's control what we can control. That is really, really hard when you're a make it happen type person. I'm like, I'm going to fix this situation. Wait, I can't fix it. Like, I cannot physically do anything about this. I can try lots of things. I can push lots of doors. I can connect with all the right people and the right people.
Well, you could go start training for the CIA and trying to figure
that.
out. You never know, man.
So, but yeah, you kind of do all of those things. And I'm like, I tell you what, I can control my trust. I can control my trust in God. I can control my love. Like, I can keep loving. I can control my unforgiveness and bitterness. I can do that. I can not just get, who am I mad at? Who's to blame for this? Because when bad things happen, we always want to blame someone. Who's at fault? Something goes wrong, any kind of tragedy. Like, well, who didn't do the maintenance on that thing? Everyone wants to.
Who can we sue?
Exactly. Who can we have? America.
America.
But I don't get to do any of those things. They're there by choice. I can't blame a government. I'm like, whatever. So I'm going to choose the things that I can control. That's it. That's kind of where I've landed, and I'm okay and at peace with that. And assuming my parents get out and I get to see them again and give them a hug again, I'll let them know that I did everything I can or everything I could, and I'm at peace with that. And and if I don't see them in this life, I'll see them in the next.
Yeah, where's that line between like how much action to take versus how much like letting God or the universe kind of just like shape whatever's going to happen? Like, how do you determine like how many news outlets to go on, how many podcasts to record? You know, you even took your daughter to the White House. I remember when I saw you at the last EOS conference. It happened to be in D.C. No accident, I'm sure. Yeah, you know, everything's like, we talk about this all the time. Like everything's like on purpose for a purpose. Yeah. And she's over there with that sweet little message of like, you know, bring my grandparents home. And I mean, it's just, it can make me cry actually thinking about it. But like, how do you determine like how much of that versus like how much like, hey, we're just going to let and see what happens?
I mean, I don't have an answer for this one because, I really don't have an answer for this one. My faith has really helped direct me in this one. God, I want to stay in trust, in a place of trust, and that's my stance. That I'm not trying to do everything in my own strength, because I know when I do everything in my own ability, my own strength, my own kind of vision, I'd probably be dead. I'd be in Afghanistan, like, come on, let's go, trying to break them out. But I'm like, okay, that's too far. I'm not doing that. That would be stupid. That would be in my own strength, and I'm not doing it. But I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust in God with all my heart. I'm not going to lean on my own understanding, and I'm going to acknowledge that He's in control. And I'm at peace with that. I'm totally at peace.
I just had a picture of you. Do you know who John Rambo is? Do you know what Rambo movie? Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
I know you're from the UK, so I wasn't sure. But I just have this picture.
The funny thing is, for the first time in my life, I just discovered his name is John Rambo. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he just had a lot. I thought his name was Rambo.
Yeah. Anyway, I just picture you with like those like bullets like all the way around, like double chested. You started working out. Like
when you started working
but then there's a UK flag instead of an American flag, and you're just like rushing in.
Hello. I'm here for my parents.
Oh,
it's my fake British accent that I can do very well.
Yeah, well, you have the real one, so you can just keep talking. So, what do you believe about suffering?
Just a little tiny topic.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, well, it's a deep topic, and I know, like, and I'm trying to like not just laugh the whole time because I know.
Well, yeah, okay.
But like, what do you believe about suffering, and then, especially when it doesn't make sense? You know, this actually with your parents almost kind of makes sense because like there's lots of stories where people, you know, got trapped in countries and not been able to get out. We've heard about North Korea, stuff like that. You've made jokes about it for your whole life. You know, that makes sense. All right, what about the stuff that doesn't make sense? Mm-hmm. And that we experience suffering, and I want to know your thoughts on that.
I know I've been through some levels of suffering. If I look at let's say I'm roughly halfway through my life. I talked about this with you over dinner. Like, I could go through the different, on the timeline of my life and go, here, that was really painful. Oh, this, you know, sibling died, this happened, this, you know, oh, this was, I got let down and really hurt by this leader here in my life, and this. Oh, man. That's painful. But absolutely naive to think that there's no more suffering. I'm like, I must be done by now. That was enough pain for me. You've gone through a lot of pain and suffering in your life. I don't mind talking about pain and suffering because it keeps me very grounded, and it helps me prepare for the second half of my life because I believe there will be suffering. I believe there's going to be pain. I believe there's going to be loss. I believe that these disappointments are going to happen, and being confused, let down, and suffering. Okay? That's going to happen. I think it's rare that people make it through life and not have any suffering. But it's about my reaction and response to it, and how I allow, for me, my worldview is allow like God to come into that part of my life and help me navigate through it in trust and dealing with unforgiveness, dealing with the pain of it, and being wholehearted as well, that I can carry through life, but also keeps me, it helps me understand other people. Just helps me understand other people. You know, you ever driving along and some driver is swerving through lanes, and you're like, can you even drive? Can you stay in your lane? Can you do this? That, as a kid, as a teenager, I'd be the one yelling, and my parents would be like, "You don't know the pain they're in." And I'm like, "What pain? What are you talking about? Whose pain? Like, that person you're yelling at, you don't know the pain." And I'm like, "What pain?" She's like, "Exactly, you don't know. You don't know the news they just heard when they were in hospital. You don't know that they just said bye to their spouse who just died in a hospital room. And they can barely see clearly through the tears that are in their eyes as they're driving." And I'm like, "What the flip? How'd you know that?" That wasn't their point. Their point was, have some compassion, have some empathy. You don't know. It's so easy to judge people's lives of why they are the way they are. But I think pain and suffering help us to actually kind of go, oh, when you were at your absolute worst, when you were at your absolute most despairing moment of your life, imagine that and see other people around you going, "Oh, what if they're going through something similar or worse than I ever have? What if their life is more pain-filled than I could ever imagine?" Oh, it's going to be a little bit more compassionate to them. It's going to be a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more empathetic. So the why behind it, why is there suffering? I don't know. But suffering and pain just helps me recognize that other people have a life, that they may be going through pain and trouble and trauma that I cannot even imagine. And it just helps me be more loving and kind to them, that's all.
Yeah. So it's almost like, but you're not, do you ever wonder, like, you don't go looking for pain though?
No.
Because we know that but we do know that the rewards of the healing on the other side of the pain are really, really powerful at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like, have you got to a point in your life now? And I'm asking this because I feel like I'm at this point where like I've been through so much pain that it's like as soon as like something comes to me that's painful, it's almost like, oh, now I know how to go into the pain, so then that way I can come out of the pain. So I don't have to sit in it for too long.
Right.
So like, it's almost like, kind of like the Ryan Holiday book, The Obstacle is the Way.
Okay.
It's like, if you go into the pain, it's like, there's the secret to like, you can learn a lot more, and it's almost like a curiosity.
Well, so if you're familiar with the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 7, wing 8. I love the drive, but I love the experience as well. I don't like painful situations. But this is something I've had to learn that the emotions are actually good and they're a gift. And I need to sit in there, for me, with my worldview and lenses, sit in that gift with God of that emotion and allow him to work with me in that. And I'm going, oh, how do you see this? How do you see this? How do you see this? How do you see this for me? Like when we walk through to the edge of death, that place of like, we're right on there, like, oh God, I wish I could die right now. Like we're right in the darkest moment. That's where, for me, I've encountered and experienced this absolute nearness of God that is undeniable for me. And I wouldn't trade the pain for the mountaintop because like the mountaintops are like the best of the best. Like everything's going great. The experiences, all of your needs are being met. You're like, this is good. Life is good right now. I love this. The things that everybody could observe and go, dang, your life looks pretty amazing. And yes, it does. But simultaneously, there's another part of my life I'm not bringing you into, but it is the most painful, and I actually wish I would die. That's going on at exactly the same moment.
Do you think is that happening for everyone, you think?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying, in my experience.
I'm just curious, yeah.
And that's the place where I've found a closeness with God, which I would rather like jettison all of the mountaintop stuff, meaning like the outward stuff in life. I would rather jettison that for that place of closeness with God. That's me, and I won't trade that for anything, and nobody could take that away from me. Meaning they can like, well, it wasn't really God. I'm just like, you're not. Nope. I know him. I know him in his closeness in that place of pain.
Sometimes I think that for like my own life, when those painful things happen, it's a reminder to get closer to God, because I probably haven't been as close to God in the good times.
Yeah.
And it seems like I wonder, and I'm trying to experiment with this better, but like it's almost like I'm too stubborn sometimes to like experience God in the good times.
Yeah.
It's like almost like he's sometimes for me, like he's like almost like he's there. I'm mindful of it, but like I don't revel in it as much.
Right.
But when there's pain, man, like me and him are like best buddies.
Right.
And then I wonder if I'm just training myself or like to always then experience pain because like I love that closeness to God, and it's like why can't I experience it in the good times? Maybe like then if I do experience all the good stuff, maybe I won't have as much pain. Like I'm wondering about that, but like man, my like stubbornness won't let me just.
I think one aspect of it is all of the good things. It's when I say that the observation from other people is like, wow, your life's pretty good, and especially. Well, I'll use you as an example. It's like, wow, you've done really good, haven't you? And it's kind of like, yes, I have. Like actually learning to go, not like, oh no, it's all God. Like, I mean, in really, like you've sat in that place of going, thank you for these things. Thank you for the good stuff, and thank you for the not good stuff. Like you are God in them all. You're the provider of it all, and I'm going to trust you in it all, whether, you know, you give it and you take it away, and I'm okay with both.
That's so good. You're a big fan of generosity. Like you are like, you know, you talked about it earlier, you know, you want to give. Where does that come from?
Well, from my parents who taught me that's what their, again, worldview. It's better to give than receive. And when we give, all of our needs are met. And, oh man, there's another thing. Okay, generosity, right? I've been a recipient of what I would say is God's generosity in my life. Like every single thing I have is because of God's generosity, okay? So now, be like, well, you're saying it's God, but this person, this happened. Like, it's not like, if you just talk generosity being like, let's use it as monetarily. I can trace every dollar that's in my bank account. Right, it's not like no way. Where did this come from? You know, like it came from the bank's like we don't know. It just appeared. Like no, it's come from somewhere. But I recognize that God is the provider of those things. Now, I have a belief that if I am open-handed with the stuff that God's given me and are quick to actually give, when somebody is crying out to God, going, "I need something, God. Can you provide for my needs?" He's going, "Who can I get this resource from and to this person?" I want to be somebody that he can find trustworthy, that I don't think too hard and think too long, or maybe that's not God saying to give that. No, I'm just quick. I don't even second guess it.
And we're back. If you've been getting value out of this podcast, like, subscribe, comment below any questions that you have for me or Jonathan. I'll make sure that we get those answered for you. I love getting feedback from the audience. Let me know what other types of guests you're looking for on the show. We're trying to really get this out to the world more because I believe that we have some really good stories on here that still haven't even been told yet.
But you're looking for upgrades, is what you're saying.
No, I mean, I'm looking for amazing guests. You know what I mean? Okay. Like experiences like this. And I love, and I think people always ask me like, oh, how many people are going to watch this? Listen, if it's just my son, it was worth it. That's why I do this, just like because I always want my kids to be able to listen to something when I'm dead, or the generations beyond.
I love it. It's a great
just
perspective.
Because, like, I would do this anyway, and I think this is better than going to dinner, even though that Wagyu last night was really good.
It was good.
And so I flew all the way to Chicago just for a free piece of steak. You know, and it wasn't just any steak. It was, what is it, A5 Wagyu.
It was an A5 Wagyu.
It just melts in your mouth. So
let's go again.
Yeah. We might have to. Let me know. Here's what I want to know. Is there a moment from the past year that made you feel alive more than ever?
Yeah, but it's not going to be very useful. When I was standing in front of the White House, standing in front of the White House with my daughter going, hey, like my parents are in jail, in a prison, in like a Taliban prison, and I'm standing here with my daughter, and she's asking the President of the United States for help. And I'm like, what the heck is going on right now? This is so bizarre. While I'm at a conference in D.C., you know, there was just like so much going on, and it just felt really like surreal, but I felt alive. And it's probably what the thing that made me feel so alive was it was all things that were outside of my control. And the adrenaline of being in a story, an adventure that was so much, you know, people say, I want to be a part of something bigger than myself, you know. So I'm just like, go on then. Like, just look around you. The world is moving incredibly fast. And you are a part of something bigger than yourself, you know? You're actually a tiny little blip. You are a vapor. You're so small. And when you realize how small we really are in the whole, 8 billion people on the earth or whatever it is. I know you said 7.
7.7.
Really? Okay, it's a lot. But all of those people, all of those lives, all of the triumphs and tragedies of the stuff that's going on in the world, and the wars to like advances like we've never seen. I mean, the advances technology-wise, and I mean, just so much going on. We are a part of something bigger than ourselves. It doesn't evolve around you. And just to pause and go, man, like, even like I feel like I'm at the house of one of the most powerful people in the world. Yeah, I can't control anything. I'm not really the one who's pulling all the strings here. I feel like I'm on this cutting edge, this exciting thrill adventure. I'm like, I don't know if it's doing anything, but I'm a part of something. And just to pause and just, man, life's such a freaking adventure. And I just want to be in the center of whatever I'm supposed to be in, and recognize full well that I am not the center of the story. It's good to feel small.
What was one memorable piece of reaction when somebody watched that video of you and your daughter? Like, what was the most memorable thing you remember someone saying to you after they saw that?
I don't know. I think it's probably the same reaction I just described for other people who've known me and not seen me in a decade or longer, 20 years. You've put on weight is one thing. No, another thing is like they just the comments of like, wow, I can't believe you're going through that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going through it. My parents are going through it. And again, it's that sort of thing of like, oh wow, there are people in the world who are going through stuff, and it's just a good reminder just to pause. And although that sounds really extreme, it doesn't negate or minimize the challenge that you're going through. So people are like, wow, I can't imagine that. I'm like, well, I can't imagine going through what you go through. I can't imagine it. Like, you've gone through some like shocking, like mind-boggling stuff. And it was great just having you sit with my wife yesterday and just tell your story. And we're just sitting there hearing the story of your life. And I can go, well, we joke around, but well, my parents are in a Taliban jail. It's kind of like poor old story of you. Like, we're not here to like give our shocking one-up stories. It's like,
well, they're all shocking to us, right?
Yeah, but exactly. But I'm like, just realize like, wow, you are so resilient as a person. Like, you are resilient. You've got fire in you that says like, there's the better days ahead, and you've got some crazy, amazing stories. But the best is yet to come, and just reminding one another that there are good days ahead and there's great adventure ahead. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's exciting. If you could whisper something to yourself from 20 years ago, what would you say?
I would talk about pain. I would talk about pain. Get ready for pain. Now, I'm thankful that I can't do that, because it would probably rock my world back then. Little 20-something-year-old, I'd be like, no, life's going to be amazing. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be perfect. Like, watch, just go wait and see. It's going to be awesome. It's all good things ahead. There's no pain. But to prepare myself, like, get yourself ready for the unexpected. Get yourself ready for the hard days. And don't worry, they're not going to kill you. They won't kill you.
Eventually.
Well, yeah, so one day something's going to kill me. But
I mean, but that is true though.
But yeah, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking. I could go take that Hellcat that I rented and go out and just drive it down the highway and get T-boned, and then I would be like, that would kill me.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Should we call this over? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think the what ifs, like, but the 20, like if you say go back and whisper to your 20-year-old self, I'd be like, hey, listen. The pain that's coming won't kill you the next 25 years at least anyway. But learn to be humble, learn to stay soft, and be teachable through it. Learn through it. Learn through it.
Hold on a second. What's something that your wife knows about you that the rest of the world doesn't that would make us smile?
Can't stop thinking about it. Oh. Probably some of the big dreams that scare me that I've told her. Other people are like, why not? But some kind of wild dreams that we have are kind of scary.
I know, but like, to be specific, are you allowed to share the dream so that way we can all smile?
No.
Wow, man, that's like, yeah. Well, we're trying to get some of this stuff behind the scenes.
I gave you the most honest answer, and you don't like it. So then I came with a secondary one.
It's not that I didn't like it. I don't even know what you're talking about right now. It never actually happened. We had to edit it out just so you know. And so inquiring minds are going to want to know. You're just going to have to email.
Should we leave it at that? There you
you're just going to have to email. Is it Jonathan D. Reynolds at
Jonathan.Reynolds at Titus Talent.
There we go.
My assistant will have to ask me.
No, we'll just give her the clip. We'll just give her the behind the scenes clip, and then they'll send it to you. That way, like, it's like bonus content. It's going to make my podcast go viral. All right. Anyway. What else can I ask you before we wrap this show? This has been awesome. All right, yeah, so this humor thing. So, like, here we go. I'm putting this away because this is getting me into trouble. Humor is very interesting to me. Where does all your humor come from? Like, is your dad like funny like that? Is your mom like a jokester?
Yeah, my mom is an absolute jokester.
Okay.
Absolute jokester. Yeah.
Where do you think this humor comes from? Because it seems
Do you know
like
what she did one time on April Fool's? She changed all the the clocks in the house to make everyone think we're late for school. Then while everyone's sleeping, sewed up all of our school uniforms, like the sleeves and the pant legs. And then in a panic, like woke everybody up. Oh my gosh, you're late for school. Quick. Like everyone's like freaking out, hyperventilating, trying to get our clothes on. Like, I can't get my sleeve in. Stop messing around. She's yelling at us like, hurry up. I was like, oh, I can't get my leave. Like until we're like in tears, and then like sends us running off to school. We all run to school. We get there to the schoolyard, the playground. And it's not even school time yet. And she found that funny. Yeah, that was funny to her.
Yeah.
So now we're all in therapy. I was kidding.
Are you kidding? So
no.
That's the thing. Are you actually kidding?
Oh, no, I am in therapy. Yeah. But not for that. I've never even talked to my therapist about that. That'd be weird. I got way bigger things to talk about than that. But anyway, yeah, she was a jokester. My mum found a lot of stuff like that really funny. But yeah, I do. It's so much fun. I laugh at a lot of things, and I don't think it's covering up some pain and trauma. I do hide behind humor at times if things are awkward, but I think generally speaking, I think laughter is great medicine, except diarrhea. It's not good for diarrhea.
Do you ever think it could be too much medicine? Like I always think of like your famous comedians, your stand-up, people like Robin Williams, right? Like you hear about like. They were so funny. We love them because we just want to laugh, right? Yeah. Chris Farley.
Totally.
We talked about Chris. So let's just use Chris Farley and Robin Williams as the examples.
Well, don't compare me to this.
I'm not comparing. Whoa, I didn't compare you. Did you take that as a comparison? No.
Well, you said about the unhealthy side of it.
No, it's not necessarily unhealthy. I just want to say, like, if we look at comedians that we all just get a kick out of, right? Yeah. Is there another side to that we don't see? Should we just assume? I mean, is it safe to assume that the more funny you are, the darker you are as well?
Maybe.
And like it's like the same level because I don't know. I think I found through just experiences with other people, being on this earth for almost 44 years, being able to like just see patterns and things like that. It's almost like when I see so much humor and so much funny things that come out, I feel like most of the time they come from, and again, it's usually people that have been developing this type of humor for a long time. Like it's been practiced and practiced and practiced, but it usually comes from a pace of like that's what they need to soothe themselves to get through the pain.
Likewise,
and then you find out about it at the end, unfortunately, and then it's
totally.
Like, now it's like, with like Chris Farley, Robin Williams, I use those as extreme examples, but then it's like, all right, well, should I just be asking you, like, are you okay? Which
is a great, when somebody makes a joke, you're like, are you okay? That's a great word, comeback. People are like, wait, what? What's wrong with me? I
Well,
thought
I'm
it was a
just
funny
I'm just
joke.
trying to figure out like how to be, you know, like and like because like when you see it, like oh we can laugh and just carry on. Oh, that's Jonathan being Jonathan, or that's Benny being Benny, because I do the same thing, and then it's like. But the people that are really aware, like they're probably like, "Oh, are you okay, man?" Like,
Yeah, I think it's probably more just annoying. I've had to learn over time, and my leadership team in the company, my family, my wife is very good at calling me out. She's like, "Hey, tone it down. Like somebody's talking." Somebody's talking right now, and you're derailing the conversation with a little idea that you found funny, you know. So as I've grown up and matured, I've been like more sensitive to other people, and then just little. I can derail any kind of event, meeting, conversation,
podcast,
funny, funny things that I just find really funny, and I'm like, okay, but I do find it funny. I'm like, sorry if you're trying to go somewhere and I derailed it. I didn't mean to. Yeah. Back to the thing, you know. But so if I told you everything goes on in my head, I mean
that's interesting. I was just about to say that. It's like what really goes on in your head?
Oh, scary stuff. I mean, partly obviously I'm British by birth and raised in the UK, which is I think a bit more dry. There's quite a dry humor, sarcastic humor,
like The Office.
Yeah, totally.
The American version or the UK version? Which is your favorite?
Well,
they're both different.
I watched all of the UK version before the US one.
Yeah.
I mean, but now. Understanding US humor, and I mean most of the Office stuff can't even air anymore because everyone's like canceling everything. So, but I think that's kind of humor is funny, sarcastic, dry humor, and but I realize that I have to be careful because some people would say, well, there's truth in many jokes, and I'm like, well, not every, but it's just it's funny doesn't mean. But I understand that there are layers and layers to those things, and I have to be careful and sensitive to. I can talk about being kind and empathetic, but then not making fun of people.
Yeah, and then it's like where are you your authentic self? It's like there's a authentic self somewhere in the middle, right? Yeah. And it's like, oh, if we've grew up with all this humor, but we've used it just to kind of like suppress things to us so we don't have to deal with it, then it just becomes us. And then and then I'm not allowed to make a joke in my leadership meeting, like, but that's who I really like. Totally. Is it or is it not? Like, it's like it sucks. Totally. It's like the ping pong ball just going back and forth like a game of pong.
Well, I mean, probably one of the ones which I have to catch myself and I make a joke and then, well, does he really think that? And I'm like, no, I don't really. It was just funny. Like, but would it be funny if you didn't think that?
Well, then I think of the Goodfellas. Remember the Goodfellas? Like Joe Pesci? Funny how? You think I'm funny? Huh? Funny how? Ray Liotta sitting over there. You remember that scene? Yes. Yeah. You think I'm funny? Tell me how you think I'm funny.
Hey, just it messes with people's minds. That's all. And so you got to be careful that you don't like mess with people's heads. Yeah. Especially if somebody's who's dependent on you and they're trusting you as a leader, and you make a joke and they're wondering, is it really a joke or is there some kind of hidden angle there? Or you? So
you gotta know how much they can handle.
Yeah.
Like for like me and you probably have a different level of like what we can handle.
And it's like, I don't care.
Versus like us like doing that with Cole.
Right. But it's like, do I care what you think of me? I'm like, I don't care what you think of me, so I can say any joke. I'm like, all right, I don't care what you think of me, but do I care about you? That's the big thing. And so if I care, I don't care what you think of me, but I actually do. Am I going to show loving care for you? Then I might actually hold back on that little thing that I found funny. So really, I'll leave it in my head. I'll laugh in my head, and I have just as much joy.
That face. Well, this is called the Big Fish Cares podcast, so I'm glad that you said care a couple of times because I feel like I've struggled with that in my own life. That I would just make jokes about things. I would probably, almost too much, and then it's like, it's funny to a certain extent. It's like, but how does that person really feel when they like walk back out of the room, And it's like, then there's a lot of damage control.
He's gonna cry himself to sleep on his pillow tonight.
Yeah. And so I've been trying to moderate it a little more, but it is fun hanging out with someone like you. And then like my humor just like starts to like come back. Like it just gets really, really interesting. And, but there's like an emotional release with that too, though. And I feel like that's healthy too.
But we enjoy life.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. What's one question that I didn't ask you that you wish I would have asked you today?
Should we go for lunch?
That's the question, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we going to get?
I don't know. What do you want?
Let the people know. Oh, geez. It's like worse.
Do you want some wings?
It's like worse than my wife. What do you want? Can you make a decision? Like, I mean,
No,
I don't want to make decisions. I make decisions all day. Just tell me where we're going.
I saw this the other day. Ready? Dude, I'm taking you. You're going to absolutely love where I'm taking you. You're going to love it. Like, guess what the food is?
What?
No, you have to guess. You're gonna love it. It's going to be like,
Oh, I see what you're doing. So I'm going to project on you what I want, and then you're going to take me to that spot like a magic trick. I want steak.
you do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, A5 Wagyu?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I want caviar.
No, you don't.
I want to do caviar bumps with you. You know what a caviar bump is?
No.
So I was at this.
Do we have to take our shirts off?
No. So I was I was in New York City at Gary V's restaurant, and there was a small little 40-person meetup there, and the chef loves caviar and so basically comes out with this big bowl of caviar, and he scoops it onto your hand. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you basically take it up here. Everybody put their fist in, to do a fist bump with the caviar here, and everybody went and ate the caviar. That's called a caviar bump. First time I ever did that.
I feel like it was just a way to sell more caviar.
Well, they gave it to us, so I don't know. It was just a cool experience. It's kind of like if you had people over at your house and you wanted to indulge them into something that you really loved. I don't know what that would be, and you just
Do you think we'll do that? Because we're meeting up with Gary on Thursday night. Do you think we'll do this? If I go, hey, let's do some caviar bumps, will he be totally into it?
Well, the problem is we're having the event is not going to the place where we're going is not going to have caviar, but we should bring some. we could bring some.
I'll pull out my pocket. There's a little caviar.
That was a cool experience. But anyway, all right. Well, that's it. That was your question. Where we're going to go for lunch? And
it's been good being on here. It's been good. It's been real. You're always authentic.
I'm excited for your keynote. I know it's not for another 9 months. If anybody wants to get pregnant today, by the time the baby comes, will be Jonathan's debut on the big stage.
Weirdest connection.
Well, I mean, 9 months. I just feel like it's 9. I feel like it's 9 months away. We got August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 9 months. I'm telling you.
Good idea.
And it'll be interesting to see what you bring, because I'm trying to figure out is it going to be, because listen, it'll be great if it's all funny, it'll be great if it's funny and crying, it'll be great if it's all of it, but I think it's going to be awesome. I think the crowd is absolutely going to love you. I've never been to one of anytime I've heard you probably speak 3 or 4 times, and every time I'm thoroughly amused. Now, I don't know if that's just because I'm another visionary, and even though we are all visionaries, by the way, that's a whole other podcast, but I'm always curious are the implementers and the integrators going to laugh? Is EOS corporate going to laugh? You have all these people that you have to try to make happy. Trust me, I've been there. It's a tall task, right? It's a tall task. But I will tell you that my biggest piece of advice was just focus on just your main audience niche, whoever that is out there, and just speak right into their soul. And if there's collateral,
that's my plan.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I love it.
Thanks for having me, man. Chicago's awesome.